or vertical, or do you care?
We just need them to show elevation while using that razor.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's a minimum of 1 inch.
A minimum of
But you
1 inch.
Then it says 1 inch taken off all over. I mean, it can be a couple inch all over, can it, if you need it in some
It can
areas?
be, the minimum amount that needs
Okay.
to be taken off is 1 inch. So if
Okay.
they take 10 inches off, that's
In some
fine, just as
areas.
long as they have another mannequin head
Okay.
or enough hair to do the rest of their procedures on.
Because it says, first it says minimum, then it says 1 inch of hair is removed throughout haircut.
Yes, that's the minimum amount is 1 inch. It can be a previously cut mannequin, just as long as there's enough to take a minimum of 1 inch of hair. Any other questions for the haircut? Okay, we're moving right along. We're going to move right into the chemical wave. The verbal instructions are as follows. You will now perform the chemical waving portion of this exam. The center back section of the head will be wrapped from the top of the crown to the hairline, to the nape hairline. You will be instructed by your examiner to apply simulating waving lotion to 2 rods. This procedure is 20 minutes. You will be informed when you have 10 and 5 minutes remaining in this procedure. We're telling the students that they do not have to do their 9-section parting that they were taught in school. And when we want them to please have their simulated waving lotion in hand and all of their steps completed before an examiner evaluates them. Okay? The chemical wave is 20 minutes. The procedures are: all chemical waves and products, supplies are labeled in English. Implements and tools are visibly clean. Applies chemical draping, towel, cape, towel. Subsections are equal to width of selected rod size. Subsections are equal to length of selected rod size. Hair is wrapped smoothly and evenly around the rods. Hair is distributed evenly across the end papers. End papers are extended beyond hair ends. Bands are positioned correctly. Rod base placement is consistent. Cotton is applied to protect the skin. Wears gloves to apply simulated waving solution. Applies simulating waving solution across the entire rod. Maintains neck protection and drape throughout the procedure. Disposes of soiled materials. Follows all infection control guidelines. And maintains work area in safe manner. Are there any questions on the chemical waving?
On the 2 rods that they put the simulated product, do they take a test curl?
We do not do test curls anymore.
Thank you.
Do you want the cotton around the outside or around where they
It could
wrap
be
their
around the
hair?
outside or that
Either
section.
or?
Either or, just as long as they have cotton.
Do they no longer have to use barrier cream?
They do not have to use barrier cream. If that's how you teach them, that's fine, but they still need to use that cotton.
Question about the barrier cream. I've had some students saying that they needed to consistently still put it around the hairline, even though it's just that center section.
For the barrier cream, we do not have a task line for that on chemical wave.
Okay.
That is for the hair coloring. That's when the barrier cream comes in contact.
Okay.
Also, if your students do use the barrier cream, make sure that they're putting that lid back on the barrier cream once they use it. And if they use the spatula to take it out, they need to dispose of that spatula, not leave it on top of the station.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes. They have to do that center back section parting. They do not have to do the 9-section parting though. Yeah, just 1 section. If they need to do that 9-section parting, they can do that. Okay? Yes.
Just one question. Could you ever, Okay, about the cotton again, does it just need to be on the bottom barrier, or does it have to be clear
It,
around the
as long, it could be on the bottom, it can be around just that area, it can be around the whole head.
Do they come with their water in the bottles already? Are they going to use?
They can come with the water in the bottle, but we do have sinks, and we explain all that during setup, but they can only get that water during the setup.
Do you care which end paper wrap they use? Double, single, bookend?
We do not care, but just remember that we do not want to see that hair going into a point. When we unroll it to check it, we want it to be all the way across the perm rod. So sometimes the bookend makes it squeeze in and makes it go in. Yes.
Do they have to complete that entire section? You said you want that back section done. Do they have to complete that?
We grade on what we see, so if they're a slow wrapper and they do not get finished, we grade on what we see. But we don't want them, if they have enough time, we do not want them to stop.
So like say they do use the barrier cream. This also goes for the cholesterol as well, which I know, I'm sorry you haven't gotten to that, but once they use the spatula to, to get it out, the lid goes directly back on it, back in their cabinet.
What, the barrier cream?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, as long as the lid's back on it, or they can just leave it sit out there for their next procedure. But the lid needs to be on the barrier cream. We
Right.
have a lot of candidates, when they use the barrier cream for that chemical wave, which they don't have to use it, they just leave it off, they leave the spatula in it, and they leave the, or the spatula just laying out on the station. Okay?
What are you taking off the most points for on permanent waving?
The bands, evenly distributed the hair across the hairline. Sometimes the hair wraps smoothly. Applies the waving solution. They're either dribbling it across, they're putting the directly applying the nozzle to the hair, dragging it across, or they're oversaturating and it's just going everywhere. Basically, there's a lot of things in there that can get marked. It just depends on the person. So everything needs to be concentrated on. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am going to be going over your hair color retouch. This procedure is going to be performed in the right front section of the head. Your verbal instructions are as followed. You will now perform the hair color retouch portion of this exam. The head will be divided into 4 equal quadrants. In the right front section of the head, you will apply a 1-inch hair color retouch. This procedure is 10 minutes, and you will be informed when you have 5 minutes remaining in this procedure. It's your hair color retouch. It will be 10 minutes. All color products, supplies labeled in English. Implements, tools are visibly clean. Applies chemical draping, towel, cape, towel. Divides hair into 4 equal sections. Applies barrier cream around hairline. For this task line to get a yes, we need to see that barrier cream up to that hairline, but not in the hairline. Also, we don't want to see it clear down like near the eyebrows. It needs to stay up by that hairline. Also, for the barrier cream and the color product, they need to be either 2 different products, or if you're using a product like cholesterol, they need to be 2 different colors. We need to see it clearly where like one begins and one ends. Wears gloves applying simulated color product. Outlines quadrant with simulated color product. We want to make sure that they're outlining with the simulated color product. We see sometimes that they outline with their barrier cream. So we just want to make sure that they're outlining with that simulated color product. Applies simulated color product from scalp out to 1 inch. Applies simulated color product using 1/4 inch partings. Simulated color product applied to completely cover subsections. Skin is free of simulated color product. Maintains neck protection and drape throughout procedure. Disposes of soiled materials. Follows all infection control guidelines. And maintains work area in a safe manner. Does anyone have any questions?
with the chemical draping, do they need to undrape and redrape with each of the 5 sections for the chemical side?
If they feel like they have the appropriate draping, they do not have to reapply a draping.
No, you said you need 2 colors. Say you're going to use cholesterol, just the cream colored cholesterol for the color. The barrier cream, can they use like a gel?
Yes, they can use a gel, but we're
Something
just,
that's 2 different things.
two
is what you-
different
so you
things.
can see.
Vaseline works very, very, very well.
Vaseline, okay. And then another thing, retouch. And then it says about covering the whole, wait a minute, where's it? Oh, simulated color product applied to completely cover subsection. You don't want it to pull it through.
No, we want it to be from the scalp out to an inch. That's what we mean completely cover. Sometimes students have dry spots in between that, and we don't want to see any dry spots. Make sure it's completely covered. We want it on the scalp and pulled out to an inch, okay? A lot of students are not putting it on the scalp, and as I mentioned last week, they're doing a better job doing the virgin relaxer in the color retouch. So make sure that they're putting it on their scalp in their retouch and pulling it all the way out for the color to an inch.
If a student is sloppy when they're putting on their barrier cream, all right, and it gets on their double drape, do they finish the quadrant and change the towel, or do they need to change the towel immediately and then finish the quadrant?
Their towel needs to be changed before we come over to check them. So they can finish their area, but after they get finished, they need to change it before we come and check them.
Are there any other questions? Okay, we're going to move on. Your next procedure will be your foil highlighting. This will be performed in the right back section of the head. Your verbal instructions are as follows. You will now perform the virgin highlight portion of this exam. In the right back section of the head, you will place 4 foil packets from the top of the ear to the hairline. This procedure is 10 minutes, and you will be informed when you have 5 minutes remaining. This will be 10 minutes, your foil highlighting. The first task line is all color products, supplies labeled in English. Implements tools are visibly clean. Applies chemical draping, towel cape towel. Applies barrier cream around hairline. Wears gloves while applying simulated color product. Creates horizontal partings. Divides horizontal partings using a zigzag motion. To get a yes for this task line and the next, we need to see a zigzag parting. We see students slicing. We don't want to see that. We want to see that zigzag parting in those foils to get a yes for this one and the next task line. Properly positions foil underneath zigzag parting. Applies simulated color product from edge of foil to hair ends. Applies simulated product to foiled hair only. Foil is folded to cover simulated product. Simulated color product applied to completely cover hair inside foil. Scalp and skin are free of simulated color product. Maintains neck protection and drape throughout the procedure. Disposes of all soiled materials. Follows all infection control guidelines. And maintains work area in a safe manner. Are there any questions?
When you say to apply barrier cream, do they have to do that after each section, or is it okay for the retouch?
They can go ahead. I'm sorry, I don't know. Who said that? Who asked that question? Way back in the back. Okay. They can go ahead and reapply if it has dried out, or they can go ahead, if you want to teach them to apply the barrier cream all the way around, that is fine. But if it does dry out, we grade what we can see. So they are allowed to go back and reapply it before they start that procedure.
Can they use 2 foils, like one underneath and one on top, instead of making a pack? Or do you want them to do the packet?
We do not grade technique, so if you want to teach them to use 2 foils, that is fine.
Okay.
I just wanted to know, can we have them start at the bottom first when we do the foils?
They can start in whatever area they choose to, just long as they're in that back section.
Okay.
Do they need another set of gloves to do this procedure? Meaning that
They can use the same glove for the hair color, so retouch color and foil, but they need to change out for the relaxer. They're doing a different procedure then.
Thank you.
Do you have a specific way that you prefer them to fold the foil? Single, double, sides in? Does it matter?
We do not grade on the technique. Just as long as their hair inside the foil is covered with their product. We do not grade on the technique of the folding of the foil.
Okay, I have two questions. First off, on my sheet, it doesn't say anything for this section about applying barrier cream.
You are exactly right. We do not have the barrier cream for the foil highlight.
Okay, so as long as I do the other three quadrants at the beginning, they're fine?
Yes.
Okay, and then my other question is, are they allowed, I know you said no slicing, but can they slice and then do the zigzag on that sliced area first? Like if they have their area, slice it and then?
They're going to make a parting first and then zigzag, so that's.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure. All right, thank you.
Do they have to use the quadrant of hair for?
They just have to do 4 foil packets.
Now, the bowl that, can they can bring the cholesterol there, spoon it out into the bowls there? Or can they also bring a bowl with a lid on it with the cholesterol or whatever already in the bowl? That, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they can.
They have to do it there, or
No, they can go ahead and pack their supplies to where it's ready to go. It's
Tupperware bowl with a lid on it
absolutely,
with the cholesterol already in it, and then they just pull that out and use that?
and make sure that is labeled correctly.
Labeled like,
It could be color/relaxer. That way they can go ahead and work out of that bowl through all 4 procedures.
oh, they can just use
They
one for
can,
all
you
of
just
them?
have to make sure that they switch out the tint brushes being used. They can use the same tint brush for the color and highlighting. Then they need to dispose of that and bring out another tint brush for both of the relaxer procedures.
For clarification, zigzagging, you mean weaving, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Also, the other question that I do have is when you're talking about equal partings, if you part down the forehead and then across by the ears, these sections are going to be smaller. They're not going to be completely even. But you're asking for that kind of parting, correct?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
There's one up here, Miss Lewis, at the very front.
So in between your foils and your color retouch, like after you're done with your color retouch, can you just put your color brush in your bowl and leave it in there, or do you need to dispose it, close up your color, and get a new one out for your foils?
No, you can use the same brush for your hair color. Your hair color and your foil highlighting are the same. You can use the same brush.
Okay.
And then your relaxer retouch and your virgin relaxer, you can use the same brush.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I think we're going to go ahead and take a 10-minute break. The time right now is 10:31, so at 10:41, we will go ahead and finish out before lunchtime, okay? So a 10-minute break, guys. Break for lunch. That's what's on my mind. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and resume. I'm going to be going over the relaxer retouch portion of the exam. This is 10 minutes, and it's in the left back section. Here are our verbal instructions as follows. You will now perform the relaxer retouch portion of this exam. In the left back section of the head, you will apply a 1-inch relaxer retouch. This procedure is 10 minutes, and you will be informed when you have 5 minutes remaining. The relaxer retouch procedure. All relaxer retouch products and supplies are labeled in English. Implements are visibly clean. Oops, hold on. Sorry, guys. There we go. Applies the chemical draping of the towel cape towel. Applies the barrier cream to the hairline. Also, there is no need to base the scalp for this procedure. It takes up time. We do not grade on it. So let your students know they do not have to base in this procedure. They still have to put the protective cream on around the hairline, but you do not have to base the scalp. Subsections hair using 1/4 inch partings. Apply simulated relaxer product 1/4 inch from the scalp out to 1 inch. Completely covers the subsection with simulated relaxer products. Again, we do not want to see any dry spots. The scalp and skin are free of simulated relaxer product. Maintains neck protection and drape throughout the procedure. So if that student has gotten any product on that towel after they are finished, before we come up to grade them, that is the time that they need to change out that towel, dispose of it, and replace it with a clean towel. Disposes of soiled materials. Follows all infection control guidelines, and maintains work area in a safe manner. Is there any questions about the relaxer retouch? Going once? No questions? Okay. This is the chemical virgin relaxer, 10 minutes. This is going to be done in the left front section of the head. The verbal instructions are as follows. You will now perform the virgin relaxer portion of this exam. In the left front section of the head, you will apply a virgin relaxer application. You will be instructed by an examiner to demonstrate smoothing. This procedure is 10 minutes. We'll let you know when you have 5 minutes remaining in this procedure. The chemical virgin relaxer procedure. All the virgin relaxer products and supplies are labeled in English. Your implements and tools are visibly clean. Applies the chemical draping of the towel cape towel. Applies the barrier cream to the hairline. Wears gloves while applying your simulated relaxer product. Subsections hair using 1/4 inch partings. Applies your simulated relaxer product 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch from the scalp. Applies the simulated relaxer product to subsection, leaving 1 inch of the hair ends uncovered. Completely covers the subsection with the simulated relaxer product. The scalp and skin are free of the simulated relaxer product. And then the demonstration. Demonstrates smoothing from the scalp to the ends. Maintains neck protection and drape throughout the procedure. Disposes of soiled materials. Follows all infection control guidelines. And maintains your work area in a safe manner. Now, with the smoothing, what we want to, when we ask the student to go ahead and demonstrate the smoothing procedure, if they have enough product to when they start to smooth, they've got enough product on the back of that comb to reapply up to the scalp and then down through the ends, they can go ahead and do so, okay? If they don't have enough product to smooth, they can then reapply the relaxer up to that scalp, reapply it to the ends, and then smooth on both sides of the hair shaft, okay? We do not grade on technique. They can use the back of the comb or their fingers, okay? Fingers, it's easier. That way they can get both sides of that hair shaft. But again, it's up to you and your technique, however you want to teach them. If you do teach them to use the comb, you got to flip it and do the other side as well. Is there any questions about this portion of the exam? Come on, guys. No questions? We're all good? Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go over the facial and manicure setup. The verbal instructions are as follows. Following all infection control and safety guidelines, you will set up all the supplies that will be used for the facial and manicure portion of your exam, and you will also perform client protection. You will have 15 minutes, and you'll be informed when you have 10 and 5 minutes remaining. Facial and manicure setup, it is a 15-minute procedure. First, you want to have them disinfect their work area with their tabletop, their drawer, and their chair. Make sure they are disposing of their soil materials, and then sanitize their hands. Applies hair protection. So for the cosmetology exam, they can just simply use a headband. All sanitizers and disinfectants display manufacturer's label in English. Follows all infection control guidelines. And maintains work area in a safe manner. So during this setup, they are setting up for their facial procedure. So they can get out their cleansing cream, their massage cream, their toner. Make sure that if they have any porous items such as cotton, paper towels, anything like that, that they're in a Ziploc baggie or inside their drawer until they actually need those. Okay. Cleansing and facial massage. The cleansing procedure is 5 minutes, and the instructions are as follows. You will now perform the cleansing and massage portion of this exam. As a group, you will have 5 minutes to cleanse the face and then remove the cleanser. Once completed, an examiner will evaluate your cleansing. Once evaluated, your examiner will instruct you to apply your massage cream and then wait for further instructions. You will be instructed to demonstrate the massage manipulations of effleurage, petrissage, tapotement, and friction. Once you've been evaluated, you'll be instructed to remove your massage cream and finish your procedure. Facial cleansing and massage. The cleansing procedure is as follows. All cleansing and massage product supplies labeled in English. Implements, tools are visibly clean. Sanitizes hands. Removes cleansing product using infection control guidelines. In the facial procedure, we want to see them use a cleanser, okay? They cannot use a cleansing cloth at this time, all right? We want to see them open up the jar, remove the cleanser with a spatula, put the product on the back of their hand, throw the spatula away, apply the lid back on the container, okay? So we want to see them remove the cleanser from the product. If you have a squeeze bottle, that's okay too. Just don't wipe it across the skin, okay? Cleanses lips from corner to center. Now, at this time, they can use a cleansing cloth to cleanse the lips, okay? They have to use some sort of product, whether it's a Q-tip, cotton, cleansing cloth. They can't use their fingers. Okay, so they have to cleanse the lips from corner to center. Properly cleanses eyes. They may use a cleansing cloth to clean around the eyes as well, or tissue, cotton, etc. Properly cleanses entire face, making sure it's not getting in the eyes, nose, or mouth. Removes cleanser from face without pulling or dragging the skin. So they can use the cleansing wipes to remove the cleanser as well. All remaining makeup and cleanser is removed from face. So if your student wants to kind of peek around and make sure that they have all the cleansing cream off the chin, around the nasal area, they can do that. The massage portion removes massage product using infection control guidelines. So again, remove the lid with a spatula, get out your product, put on the back of the hand, throw the spatula away, put the lid back on, and then begin the massage portion. Properly applies massage product to the face. Facial cleansing, this is a continuing. This is when we ask them to demonstrate effleurage. So in a group, we will ask them to demonstrate their massage movements, demonstrates petrissage. Let me go back to effleurage. Effleurage is a light feathering motion, okay? Petrissage is a pinching motion. Tapotement is just a light tapping motion. And then friction, As long as you're causing friction, we're not grading on technique, so you can do small circular motions. You can go across the chin with friction. If you go across the forehead, make sure you're not gliding across the forehead, but you can do friction across the forehead as well. Removes massage product without dragging or pulling the skin. All massage product is removed from the face. Properly applies toner. So make sure if you have a spray toner that you're shielding the eyes, that you're not just squirting it right in the face. Or they can put it on a cotton ball or tissue. Maintains hair protection throughout service. So if their draping falls off, make sure they reapply it. And make sure they're not getting any product in the hair. Disposes of soiled materials. Follows all infection control guidelines. And maintains work area in a safe manner. So if your student does not put the lid back on top of their cleansing cream or massage cream, they will get a no for safety because the lid was off. If they lay the spatula back on top of their station or on top of their jar, that would be no for disposal. Okay? Are there any questions regarding the facial?
Is a plastic cap acceptable draping?
Yes, a plastic cap is an acceptable draping.
Do you need the plastic cap and the head wrap?
You are not required to have a plastic cap and a head wrap. The task line just reads applies hair draping. So if you just use a headband, that's okay, or if you use a plastic wrap, just make sure the hair is protected. Okay?
Does the makeup have to be removed off the mannequin before you go to boards?
Not for cosmetology. The question was, do you have to remove the makeup for the cosmetology facial, and that's a no.
You can use a towel with a bobby pin here for the draping.
Yes, you may use a towel with a bobby pin.
If they need water, like we give 4x4s, can that be in a squirt bottle? Doesn't have to be in a bowl. Sometimes you need water to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can use a squirt bottle. Just make sure the bottle is labeled water.
And then now you're saying that they can use the wipes?
They can use facial cleansing wipes to cleanse the eyes and the lips, and then remove the cleanser.
So the wipes are just like they have the stuff on them already, like the hand wipes. You can use that for the face. I mean, they don't.
It has to be labeled facial cleansing wipes.
Okay.
People's been bringing just baby wipes.
Yeah.
It has to be labeled as to what you're using it
they
for.
Can use that to get everything off.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can barely hear you.
It's on, but it's not working.
Okay.
I had it close. It's not working.
I just have a general question. Are they allowed to have a spray water bottle on their station at all times, and does it have to be labeled?
Everything has to have a label as to what it is. If you have a spray bottle, you could have alcohol in there, you could have water. So make sure that it's labeled, and yes, it can be out on their station.
My question was, I know everything needs to be labeled. When they're using the cleansing cream and the massage cream, does it have to have the manufacturer label on it?
The only thing that has to have the manufacturer's label on it is the hand sanitizer and the disinfectant. Everything else can have a handwritten label on it.
Do they have to, are you having them wait to show the movements and before like when the examiner comes over, that's when they demonstrate those movements, or are they already proceeding with a facial?
We do a 5-minute cleansing as an entire group.
Right.
And then we grade the removal, and then we ask them to apply their massage cream, and then they wait.
Okay.
Then once everyone is finished, we do the massage manipulations in groups. So each examiner will have their own group, and then each examiner will ask them to demonstrate each massage movement. Okay?
I'm sorry. If they use the cotton for the toner, does the cotton have to be in a plastic bag on the station, or can the cotton be by itself?
I can't find the person talking. Okay, could you repeat the question?
If they use cotton for the toner,
Okay.
does the cotton, when it's on the station, does it have to be in a plastic bag or can it be by itself?
Any porous item has to be in a Ziploc baggie until you're ready to use it.
Can that Ziploc bag be laying on your station, or does it have to be inside the drawer?
It can be laying on top of your station. Just make sure it's closed so that you don't have cotton sticking out of that bag.
What's the time frame allowed for the facial? It says 5 minutes for cleansing, but it doesn't give us a time frame.
Because we go as this, so we would say demonstrate effleurage, okay? And then we walk down the aisles, and then when we're ready, we move on to the next massage movement. So that part is not timed. Any other questions regarding the facial or massage portion of the exam? Okay, we are going to move on. We're going to go on to the basic manicure. The verbal instructions are as follows. You will now perform the basic manicure portion of this exam. You'll perform a complete manicure, including the polish. Upon completion of the manicure procedure, please turn the mannequin hand towards the front to indicate that you are finished. This procedure is 20 minutes, and you'll be informed when you have 10 and 5 minutes remaining. The basic manicure is 20 minutes. All manicure product supplies labeled in English. Implements, tools are visibly clean. Sanitizes hands. Sanitizes mannequin hand. Shapes free edge from corner to center safely. We've seen a lot of students putting the mannequin hand inside their finger bowl before they file, okay? They need to follow these steps. So first they need to file, okay? So if they soak the nails prior to filing, they will be marked a no for this task line. Length and shape of nails is changed in uniform. So a quick way to change the length is just snip them off, and then you can just round the edges off or square them off whatever shape you choose. Fingers are completely immersed in water, so after they're done shaping them, they need to immerse the fingers in the finger bowl, and then they need to dry the hand completely. Cuticle cream or remover applied using infection control guidelines, meaning they can put it on from the bottle without touching the skin. They can use a cotton-tipped orangewood stick and put the cuticle remover on that, or they can use a Q-tip, okay? Properly pushes back cuticle. Cleanses under free edge. Demonstrates proper use of nippers. We've been missing this task line a lot, so if we don't see your student do this, we will ask them to demonstrate the nippers, okay? We will still be walking around and looking for that, but if we miss that, we will ask them to demonstrate the use of the nippers. Properly buffs nails. So that is holding the sidewalls down and making sure they're not buffing with a lot of pressure that they're going to injure the cuticle or the client. Cuticle oil applied using infection control guidelines. Again, this can be used with a dropper, okay? They cannot use the one with the brush in it. If they bring one with the brush, they can take the brush out. Use a Q-tip, cotton-tipped orangewood stick. They cannot touch the skin. This is the continuance of the basic manicure. Massage product applied using infection control guidelines. Palms and fingers and back of hand massaged. Hand is massaged with continuous contact. Massage product removed from entire nail. Base coat is applied to the entire nail plate. Dark nail polish is applied to the entire nail plate. A lot of them have not been polishing the entire nail. They're leaving that hairline around the nail. They have to polish the entire nail. Top coat is applied to the entire nail plate. Polish is smooth and even on the nail plate. Skin and cuticle are free from polish. The end of task disposes of soil materials. So if they use that cotton-tipped orangewood stick or that Q-tip, it needs to be disposed of. Follows all infection control guidelines. So in this task, if your student sets their station up with 5 files, a couple buffers, cotton, they will be marked off for infection control. The proper way to set up their station is they need 1 file, 1 orangewood stick, 1 pusher, 1 buffer. If they need another one, they can get in and out of their drawer as much as they choose to. But if they are filing and they have extra supplies out on their station, when they're filing, that nail dust is getting on those clean items, okay? And make sure the drawer is closed. And again, there should be no lap towels, okay? So if they need to wipe their hands off or the mannequin hand, use a towel or a paper towel, wipe the hand off, and then dispose of it. Maintains work area in a safe manner, so if any jars are uncapped or if anything is dropped on the floor. If your student drops something on the floor, they need to pick it up immediately, okay? If someone next to them drops something in their area, they are responsible for that general area, okay? So they need to pick it up, dispose of it, sanitize their hands, and go back to what they were working on. And make sure all bottles and caps have the lids on them. Also, make sure that they are not bringing wet disinfectants. We've seen less and less of this, but we still have seen it. They are not required to have a wet disinfectant. Okay, so we assume all the implements that you bring have already been disinfected unless they are visibly dirty. Okay. Any questions regarding the basic manicure?
Do you grade on the technique using the nippers on the nails or just in general?
We are grading for the nippers that they're using a nice, smooth, even movement, that they're not pulling at the cuticle and tearing it. And a lot of students been using their nippers upside down. So make sure that they are using those the right way and that they're not pulling or ripping the cuticle.
Are the students permitted to either use terry towels or the hands down towels?
Either one.
Either one's fine? Okay.
Yes.
For the application of the cuticle cream and the cuticle oil, do they have to take a Q-tip for each application?
Yes.
Like for each finger, they have to get a new Q-tip?
Oh, for each finger?
Right, to
No.
redip.
If
But
they
when-
go back into that container, they
Correct.
need to use another Q-tip.
Okay.
But if they just get the product out and do it on all 5 nails, that's okay.
Okay.
But if they get out, put it on, go back to that, they have, does that make sense?
Yes, yes, thank you.
That was going to be mine. You know, where they clean under the nail, the orangewood stick, cotton, apply it on all 5.
Yeah, that's fine.
Once they finish, like you said, 1 orangewood, or dry sanitizer, where the clean implements are, taken in that. When they're finished, do they have to have another cupboard, or just put them in the trash when they're finished, when they clean off their area?
They have a trash can that they can dispose of everything in there.
Right, okay.
Yeah. They don't need a separate disposal container.
Okay.
That just takes up space.
During setup for the manicure, I'm over here, I'm sorry. Do they need to disinfect the chair after they set the bag on the chair? Like, say they set the bag on the chair to set up their area, and they take the bag off to put it away. Do they have to disinfect the chair before they sit down?
When we are grading, we're watching you to disinfect the tabletop, the drawer, the chair. After that, we're looking for other things. That's not something they would be marked off for. Okay.
I'm right here. What a correct way to hold a cuticle nipper, please?
The correct way is don't have it upside down, for one, and then, but really, I mean, people do it differently. We're not grading on technique. We're just making sure that you're doing it safely, that you're not pulling or ripping the cuticle. Okay.
I have 2 questions, please. One of them where it says dark nail polish applied to the entire. Does that mean they do not leave like a 1/16 of an inch for the cuticle area?
No.
Anymore? Okay. Are you grading on their technique of 3 strokes anymore?
We are not grading on 3 strokes. We want to see a complete polish, and then there's another task line that says polish is smooth and even on the nail plate. So if you need more than 3 strokes, by all means, they need to do that. When they're finished filing, do they have to change the towel on the table? We consider it one client. Before we come up and grade them, have them dispose of things. Okay.
Okay, one more thing. We've been teaching our students when we do pack their bags or help them. Like you had said earlier, we do have like the one plastic bag with all the, set up like the bags, the hand sanitizers and the citrus too. So we've been telling them to, of course, sanitize their hand, get in their bag, get the trash bag out first, put that in, then disinfect, so they would have a place to put
That's fine.
the paper towel.
That's totally fine.
Okay.
There's a question over here in the middle. It does not matter where they place the finger bowl on the table. They can. As long as it's disposed of, once we come up and grade them, either way.
My question is, I'm over here. My question is about that buffer, the buffer with the numbers on it they can't use. Are they able to use the white one?
Yeah, as long as it's not a heavy grit buffer, we want to see shine. We don't want to see the nail roughed up. We want to see for a natural nail. And yes,